Oh my gosh, I today I have one kid, but it feels like based off the amount of times I've heard mom, 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 you would think I had like six kids. It's one of those days. Anyways, I wanted to jump on and share a little bit of creative thinking with you. So, when I first left the traditional nursing space, I had to think outside the box to figure out what to do. So, if you are a nurse or medical professional or anyone working any type of job, but there's a lot of nurses in here, and obviously I used to be a nurse, so I'm kind of sharing examples in that area, but you can still use the same creative thinking. Um, so start thinking about if you know that you want to leave your job or you think you just know you want something different. You're not sure if you want to leave nursing altogether, um, but you don't want to be working directly with people um, on the floor. Maybe you're looking for some sort of remote nursing job. Um, there's a lot of different options for you. So um, start thinking about any connections you have. So if you are working in a hospital or a surgery center or wherever, and you want to work from home, start thinking about the doctors, nurse practitioners, PAs, anyone that you come in contact with that you have a good relationship with. Think about what they do when they're not at the hospital or they're not at the surgery center or wherever. So think about, okay, so like a surgeon. So this is my story. So like with this, I had worked with a surgeon before, and he called me every few months. Sometimes he'd have his wife call me and say, "Hey, do you want to come work for us?" And I said, no, I didn't want to commit to something, right? Like I didn't want to commit to something knowing that I didn't want to um, work in an office long term. So with a new baby, I really just wanted to work from home. So I kept saying that. I kept saying like as much as I would love to work for you at your office, I want to be home. So I'm not going to leave one job, in-person job, to go to another. And this one would have included a pretty long commute for me. So I wouldn't have any possibility of seeing my baby on my break. See, there it is. Mom, honey, just give me just a minute. Go ask Dad if you need something.
He doesn't want to listen to mom.
Dear Mom, do you understand what this is like? Let me know in the comments if you understand this. Anyways, yeah, I wouldn't have been able to see my kid on a lunch break. I know it's funny to even think of a lunch break, but there was no possibility, right? So for me, I didn't want to commute. I didn't want to lose an extra 2 hours of time every day that I could have with my baby. So I kept just saying, as much as I would love to work for you, I really am looking for something from home. So, and I started to say little things kind of putting it in his head, oh, I can do that from home, or everything's, all the records are electronic now. I can do that from home, so if you ever are willing to let me work from home, yes, I will come work for you. So I don't remember how long this went on. They might have even started to approach me when I was still pregnant. I can't remember now, but I left the job I was working in person when my son was 10 months old, and went to work working as a nurse remotely for a surgeon. So sometime in that period of time, they finally offered me a work from home position. So I'm sharing this because I want you to think about any connections you have. So think about the doctors, the surgeons, whoever you work with, or, pass by and have, a good relationship with, and think about what things look like when they're not there at wherever you work. So when they're in their office, so if they're a surgeon, they're seeing patients somewhere, think about what goes on there, and see if there might be an opportunity for you to help from home. So when I worked from home, all of the patients calling in who needed advice, who had questions about their upcoming surgery, about their incision, about symptoms they're having, after surgery, whatever, they would come to me and I would talk to them just like I would as a triage nurse in the office, but I was at home in my home office. So think about things like that. Like, what could you do? And then in the downtime between calls, I would be sending in prescriptions. So remember, everything is electronic now. So, a doctor sees a patient, everything's in their electronic medical record. So whatever they need, whether it's prescription, a referral somewhere, an order sent somewhere for medical equipment or whatever, I could do that all from my computer. From my computer, I could fax things, I could e-prescribe things, I could pick up the phone and call in a prescription. The only thing I couldn't do was print out a hard copy prescription and have the doctor sign it. But we had a great system for that too. So I would put the prescription together on the computer. I would hit print. It would print in the office, which was like almost an hour away from my house. I would send a quick message to the medical assistant in the office and say, hey, please have the doctor sign this prescription and put it at the front desk. And so that would happen. And I would tell the patient, you can pick up your prescription, whatever time. So there's always options. And, every doctor's office might not be, wanting to do something like that, but it doesn't hurt to ask. And again, if you have doctors or people who want you to work for them, if they want you bad enough, they just might make those accommodations for you. And it worked out really well because I could stay in my zone. I could do my job of helping the patients over the phone and doing all the behind the scenes things without being interrupted like you would. There's my little guy. Like you would if you were actually in the office. So start thinking about people you can talk to and see if that might be a good option for you in your situation. Another thing, once I started, my naked child back there, like giving you guys a peep show. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to do this. He really wants my attention. When I started working as a virtual assistant, so I started doing that while I was still working for the doctor I was working for remotely. Even though I loved what I was doing for the doctor, I still really wanted more freedom. So I wanted to be able to work when and where I wanted to without having to answer the phone, without having to, be somewhere. Right. Without having to be somewhere. I think we're all going a little crazy from being quarantined. All right. I just need 5 more minutes, okay? Okay. Go get Dad. Sorry, guys. So anyways, I still wanted more freedom. I didn't want to have to be there at a certain time. And honestly, I just didn't want to, still have to answer to someone else. And, I wanted to do my own thing. And for some people, that's a great option. Not everyone wants to do that. It's totally fine. But if you are thinking, you want to do something, will you please go see your dad?
Yeah.
You're silly.
So, I thought I was gonna dance in your house.
Okay, shh. Go dance in the living room, please. If you are thinking that you want to start something of your own, doing something like some sort of freelance position, some sort of virtual job, like a virtual assistant or social media manager, online business management, graphic designer, web designer. There's there's like hundreds or thousands of different jobs you can do. But anyways, if you're thinking about something like that, that is, even if you do it in 2 steps like I did, you're still making steps towards following your dreams and doing what you want to do and, making money from home, whether you're working remotely or you're working as a freelancer, you're on the right path, right? Okay. So another example, when I was a virtual assistant, I started talking to other people I know. So, to see if they needed anything, done. And when I was a new virtual assistant, I did like anything. I didn't care. I'd do whatever. I had someone I knew hire me to build a website, super basic website, which was good because I was, new, but I had built a couple of websites for myself. And so, it was super cheap for them and good learning experience for me. And that was, that was something that someone I knew. So just by posting on social media about what I was doing, I got that job. And then I had a family member who ran a restaurant, And I used to work in that restaurant when I was a teenager, and that wasn't something I wanted to do again, even though I could have done that, but I didn't want to. Didn't want to work in a restaurant again, but mainly I didn't want to be away from my kid, right? So they hired me to do their social media management, and that was something that they needed. They needed an online presence. So you never know, like, who you know already that could either give you a job or refer you to someone who could give you a job. So there's just a couple things for you to start thinking about as you are thinking about making a transition to working from home, whether it's working remotely or freelancing and working as an independent contractor. Start thinking about who you know and what types of jobs you might be willing and able to do. I know several people who still work their regular day jobs, and they are also freelancing on the side. So nights and weekends, sometimes mornings or lunch breaks, like whenever they can fit in time, they will do virtual assisting jobs, social media management jobs. There's a ton of jobs out there like that don't take a ton of time, that are, maybe a couple hours a week or a few hours a week. And if you really want to gain that experience and start making either extra money or replace your income, you can start finding those jobs very easily without having to quit your job completely. And eventually, if you love it, then you will quit your job completely and just freelance. So anyways, I hope this gave you a few ideas for thinking, getting those juices flowing in your head, right? Start thinking creatively about what potentially you could do. I also know, there's different types, depending on what your specialty is, what type of licensing you have. There might be other things that you can do. Like there's RNs who do like Botox, like do different like cosmetic type injections. You know what I mean? Like there's lots of things you can do. There's one of my friends has a client who is a dental hygienist, and she opened her own practice. Like, I don't know if she has an extra special license or something, but she has her own, like she cleans people's teeth in her own place without a dentist there, and then obviously refers people if they need like dental care beyond hygiene. But she made it's like a spa-like experience. So people with really bad anxiety, like dentist anxiety, can go to her and have an amazing experience and keep up with their oral hygiene. Like, so I'm sharing these things with you because that's freaking brilliant, right? If you're at a place that doesn't even have a dentist, you don't have to have any like worry that anyone's gonna like stab and poke and drill you that day or anything, right? I love it. If I lived in that area still, I would absolutely go see her. But anyways, so to start thinking of like creatively about how you might be able to adjust what you're doing, what type of business you might be able to start, or different type of job that you might be able to have. And make sure you check out my video showing you how to find remote and freelance jobs on LinkedIn, because I talk a lot about medical jobs and show you how you can find obviously you can find regular like in-person jobs, but you can find a lot of work from home jobs for nurses. A lot of times insurance companies will hire you, pharmacies, like mail order pharmacies, because they, with all of the insurance stuff, they will hire nurses like as case managers to look at, the different things coming through. So, and, help make decisions and make sure they're following the protocols, escalate them to, whatever needs to be done. So there's a lot of different options. So, all right, if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. If there's anything I can clarify for you or you need additional ideas, watch the LinkedIn video if you haven't already. And I will put that link below this video. I will also put a link to the Clarity Call, the free Clarity Call I'm offering right now, which is 20 minutes, you and me here on Zoom, talking about where you're at now, where you want to be, and I will give you the best resources and advice I can to help you move along in your situation. So, all right, I hope you have an amazing day. I'll talk to you later. Bye.